When you feel the world is over, when you say you're feeling lonely, if you ever need a shoulder, you know where to find me. Stop chasing all the city lights, breathe me in, go on and take your bite, count on me to make you come alive. You know where to find me tonight. You know where to find me tonight. When you feel the world is over, when you say you're feeling lonely, if you ever need a shoulder, you know where to find me. Stop chasing all the city lights, breathe me in, go on and take your bite, count on me to make you come alive. You know where to find me tonight. You know where to find me tonight.
We lost our minds in the darkness of night.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aspire Sports Show. I'm Tyler, along with Kyle. Are you going to turn on your camera?
Yeah, I didn't know. I forgot that I did.
Okay.
Hi.
So we'll be talking about. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask it in the chat. We'll just kind of talk about like the games today, some disappointments, some guys, some stonks guys, some guys that performed really well, and some guys that were kind of busts, and obviously talk a little bit about the Steelers, eh? Huh? And let us know. It's always tough because we give out a ton of advice for the weekend, right? Like we answer so many questions. So
So
it's hard
speak.
to really know how many like we actually get correct, right? Like how many times we're telling people to play this person over this person, if it was good advice, if it was bad advice. It's hard to really gauge how well we're doing just because we answer so many people. So let us know how we did for you. We'd appreciate that. So let's see, we have a question in the chat. Am I good? I'm up 74. I have Henry and Rogers while he has Adams, AJ Brown, and Josh Allen. I'd say you should be set. If you somehow lose, the fantasy gods hate you. I'll just say that. Like you should definitely win that game. I would feel very comfortable about that. So, um, and we'll go ahead and just talk about some things here real quick. The Rams. I mean, the Rams.
For
I
sure
really
with,
thought
by
they
the
were
way,
going to be.
I wanted to say real quick, for sure with AJ Brown and Devontae Adams with the weather right now and at
Yeah,
Lambeau Field.
yeah. I think the chances are pretty good. I mean, you're up by 74. You still have, you have Derrick Henry, who Derrick Henry should have a really good game tonight, I think. And then Rodgers. So I mean, if Devontae Adams has a good game, Aaron Rodgers is going to have a good game. So kind of goes hand in hand. So I think you
And
should be
yeah,
fine.
Derrick Henry is bound to be the guy today for Tennessee, obviously.
So with right now the Rams, I mean the right now the NFC. So you have I think all of them clinched. I don't know if they clinched the division. Did they clinch? Yeah, they clinched the division, right? I'm pretty sure with that win.
Who you talking about?
The the Seahawks, yeah. So they have
Oh
the
yeah.
division.
Wow.
So they won the division. So you have right now the Rams, the Bears, um, and then who's the other team? So you have one, two, three, four, five, six. So the Rams and the Bears right now control. I don't know if they control their destiny. How it works next week if Arizona loses, or if they both win, Arizona and the Bears. If they both win, who's in, who's out. So you have some interesting things. I mean, definitely like the Bears. I did not think that they'd be back in this position. So kudos. What do you do in the offseason if you're the Bears? Are you re-signing Mitch? Looking for a quarterback? I mean, what do you do in this circumstance? So craziness in the final week here in the NFL. Um, I will say that the Rams were very disappointing today. Uh,
So are the
I
Chiefs
Chiefs were pretty
in terms of
disappointing.
fantasy. I mean, if you needed a big game from Pat Mahomes today, you didn't get it.
No, and and we'll read the stat that you said earlier,
What
or
one?
the quarterbacks.
What are you talking about? Which one?
Like,
With the yeah, I have it right here. Okay, yeah, this is crazy. We were talking earlier, and Tyler had a list, which it makes a lot of sense when you look at it before all the games today. I mean, you would agree with it honestly, and I'm gonna just read off the top 8 quarterbacks today for fantasy. These are the top 8 scoring quarterbacks of fantasy today. Number 1 was Tom Brady, which Tyler got that one right. Um, and the number 2, Deshaun Watson. Number 3, Andy Dalton. Number 4, Ben Roethlisberger. Number 5, Kirk Cousins. Number 6, Mitch Trubisky. Number 7, Derek Carr. Number 8, Brandon Allen.
where are you looking this up at?
This is NFL Fantasy on their website.
Oh,
Which,
on their website.
yeah,
Okay.
so I think they do PPR, and I think they basically do.
Well, I wonder if this is just updated with the 4 o'clock games. Or is
Yeah,
this like
they do live updates. I'm pretty sure. That's what I've
okay?
noticed.
Let me double check.
But
Um,
barring
okay.
things, I'll read the next few. Is the Seattle game over then? The Seattle.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
officially over.
All right.
So where was Jalen? Oh, Jalen Hurts is right there.
14th.
Hmm.
Lamar Jackson 9th. You were pretty high on Lamar this week, so
Yeah.
that was still a good play. And then Russell Wilson 10th, Matt Ryan 11th, Pat Mahomes 12th.
Boy,
Right
Patty
next
Mahomes.
to CJ Beathard.
That is pretty crazy. How fantasy works. I
It
mean, it's
is.
just gross. When you have Andy Dalton as the second. Hey, I did. There was one person that I pulled up the tweet. They asked, should they go? It was Russell Wilson or I forget who the other person was. I can't remember, but I said Russell Wilson. They're like, "Are you sure? I need as much points as possible." And then they sent me a picture of the waiver wire quarterbacks, and then I said, honestly, if I had to pick one, it would be Andy Dalton. And so hopefully that person played Andy
Right.
Dalton because I did not like Russ. What did he
Oh,
actually?
did you? This is a stat I've been dying. I wanted to say so
He's
bad, and it's
still
funny.
he was still up there.
Funny you mentioned Russ because there's a stat. I think it was NBC tweeted. Um, that was Andy Dalton's sixth game with 350 plus passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Russell Wilson's only had 5 in his career.
Hmm.
Isn't that crazy? Like it's just
Yeah.
the NFL is wild. That's why it's just so unpredictable. Like we were talking I said the other week when Derek Carr left the game and Marcus Mariota goes in. Marcus Mariota and Derek Carr broke their legs in the exact same week in 2016. And both their teams were playoff contenders in the AFC that week. And sure enough, they're on the same team. Derek Carr goes down, and you're like, "Oh, Marcus Mariota." It's just the NFL is so wild to me. I love it. I love every second of it. It's so interesting.
Uh-huh. So let's see here. Uh, what about the other game that we should talk about? The Cleveland game. Sorry, Browns fans. And obviously they're going to make excuses. They're going to say, oh, all the receivers are out, which that's fair. I mean, it is fair to say that, but at the same time, here's the issue that I have with like anybody that makes an excuse is that whenever it's convenient for you, you can make an excuse, and then when the situation's reverse, where say the Steelers first, I'm going to say the Steelers because I'm a Steelers fan. The Steelers play 3 games in 12 days, and they can't use that as an excuse as to why they might be struggling. Everybody's like, "Oh, excuses." Where one of the first things when I tweeted something out on Twitter about how the Browns are feeling dangerous, Baker, the first reply was, "Well, what about the receivers?" Which is, I agree, but at the same time, you can't make excuses if you're going to not let other teams make excuses. So, Browns fans, I'm sorry, but the Jets, come on, the Jets, and also this is pretty interesting as well. I thought when you look at the total standings for the league, right? Um, you have the Browns who right now are 10-5. And if you look at all the teams ahead of them, right? All the teams are like in point differential, the Ravens plus 130, Dolphins 96. The closest one, the Bills 67. And then you have the Browns are minus 13 in point differential. So like that is pretty telling in itself because all the teams around them are like plus at least
Well,
50.
and
So
I do want to say a particular Browns fan went out of his way, a friend of mine, in a group chat to talk smack. And one of the particular points he brought up was Steelers fans always make excuses, and injuries don't matter. The Browns have had to deal with it too, blah, blah, blah. And that's just the thing in the NFL. Like, first of all, be consistent, but like, that's the thing. Like, it's unpredictable week to week. But he, also, the Browns had Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb. Those are 4 weapons most quarterbacks do not have 2 of those guys. So even when you're losing, you don't have Jarvis Landry and whoever else. I mean, let's be real honest. Baker Mayfield just didn't really look that great today. Like he just struggled a lot. But you lose 4 of your starting wide receivers. I mean, it is really tough. But I just want to tell Browns fans, let's be a little consistent.
So if this is the championship, couple need 54 day
Yeah,
out of.
I saw that. Good luck, dude. Not
Um,
happening today, though.
you never know. It could happen, but I feel like
If he runs the
definitely
ball,
less than I'd say like 3% chance. Unfortunately, no, it's not. Sorry, not tonight. Baker Mayfield bust. Glad I didn't play him. Yeah, um, I'm glad I didn't tell. I feel like in the beginning of the week I did tell some people, but then after the receivers were all out, I didn't
yeah.
tell anybody to
I
play him.
think they would have blown away the Jets if they were full health and
Yeah, if they
everything.
were fully
But
healthy, I think.
woulda, coulda, shoulda, all that.
Yeah.
It's the NFL and in COVID, it's 2020. Every team's had to deal with crazy shit. The Browns
hmm
finally came to them this time. Not karma, it's just the bug, the injury bug and the COVID bug.
Uh, and I mean, usually I'm not going to say it's not possible. It's definitely possible. Anything can happen. I mean, did you expect Alvin Kamara to get 6 touchdowns this past week? He probably could have had more as well. I did. I wouldn't think that. I mean, is it possible Devontae Adams best wide receiver in the NFL? Yes, I said it. Devontae Adams best wide receiver in the NFL. So, um, it's definitely possible. I wish I wouldn't went McKissick over Lockett in the flex. Yeah, it probably would have been a good call. Won 3 championships today. Need 36 from Henry to make it 4 after starting Swift over Gaskin. I probably told you to do that, Mark. I'm sorry. I didn't like Gaskin that much. I felt like it was gonna be more of a timeshare. It didn't end up being that much of a timeshare. But hey, it's possible. Derrick Henry could certainly. I feel like Derrick Henry getting 36 is definitely more possible than Devontae Adams getting 54. Especially in this game, like if it's crazy weather conditions, they're gonna lean heavily on the run. So he could definitely get that. Um, if the weather was, yeah, I agree. If the
Curtis
weather wasn't
Samuel.
that bad,
Didn't you tell him to play Curtis Samuel too? I'm pretty sure you told him to play Curtis
I
Samuel.
I know I told a couple people to play
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel
So
today.
you
So
won that guy the championship with Curtis Samuel.
well,
And forget everybody else. Curtis Samuel. Well, you did say McKissick today too. You liked McKissick.
I did like those two guys today. I
You
just had
said
a
you
good
liked
feeling.
Gaskin too.
I no, I did say this.
Yeah, you
I
were
did say that.
50-50 on him.
No, well, I said this. I said whoever's going to see like the touches in the backfield was going to have a good game because the Raiders are terrible defensively. They're awful. So I just wasn't sure if I felt like Gaskin was going to see majority of the carries, but I said it was going to be like 50, 55 to 45. So I didn't feel too good about it, but whatever. It is what it is. Um, True about the weapons. No excuses. Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams are hurting. I mean, to have all your receivers, that does suck a lot. To really
Not.
have your
Yeah, it's crazy to
to
me.
have your number one, basically, I think it was like Marvin. What was that dude's name? Marvin Hall, and he was just on the Detroit a couple weeks ago. I mean, that's not.
I am curious about
I
something.
feel bad about.
I saw in the comments something about about the four wide receivers or whatever, and then somehow OBJ got brought up, and then the conversation that was honestly getting ratioed at that point was OBJ is still like caught up, his talent is still caught up in the hype. Do you believe that? Do you think still gets paid and gets all this praise because of his catches? But like honestly,
Uh,
I
no,
think I mean
I
there
think he's
has
still
been
good.
times where he's incredible, but there's also times where like I think it's really just him. Nobody gets in his way more than himself.
Yeah, and I also think it's part of the Browns too. Like I think that the Browns have had a bunch of hype and haven't really fully reached their potential. And they just had, I mean, to really think about it, like they could honestly be like they could be 11-5 and I think miss the playoffs this year.
That's the
I think
thing.
that's pretty crazy to
They're on
have
the
in the AFC an 11-5 team miss the playoffs.
they lose. I think if they lose this week and the Colts win, they are out. Right?
I don't know how it works because I was looking at it because I think the Dolphins, because you have the Dolphins right now, they're 10-5. I think the Dolphins need the most help. They need a couple teams to lose. I mean, I'll say this. I think the Browns are going to beat the Steelers because I don't think the Steelers really play anybody. They have nothing to play for at this point. I mean, you could say seeding, but I don't think that they care about seeding at this point. They won the division. They're happy with that. So I think that they basically sit everybody and the Browns are playing a second team JV squad for the Steelers. So I think the Browns win. At that point, I don't know who needs who to lose to in order to get in because you have the Colts sitting there, Dolphins, Baltimore all sitting right
Or
there.
what I think happens honestly is Mason Rudolph plays and they win, and then he takes Miles Garrett's helmet off his head and bashes it on his head, and that'll be a celebration. No, I
Yeah,
don't think.
because you have the Dolphins, you have Baltimore, Cleveland, the Colts all at 10-5.
That's
So
crazy to me. And then
whoever,
you have a
I don't
team
know,
in the NFC who won't even have fucking 6 wins make the
make
playoffs.
the playoffs. I mean, the Cowboys can literally still win the division.
It's insane.
That's how bad that division.
So
It's
even
pretty.
mom was talking about that today. Our
It's
mom
pretty pathetic.
acknowledges how like disturbing and stupid that is. But we were
It is
talking about
stupid.
it. Like they can't. Does the NBA, if you win your division, are you automatically in, or can you still be knocked out by somebody who has a
No, I
better
think
record?
it just goes. It goes by conference in the NBA, not
So
division.
there's no division. So there's
There is
well, there's
divisions, but
divisions,
they
but
don't have
there's no
divisional
division
winners.
titles. Okay.
Yeah,
So that'd be
I
interesting
mean there
if. But
technically
what if
is,
they
but
do
it
that in
doesn't
the
matter in
NFL
standings.
with the 4 divisions?
They
Why don't
should.
they should just make it? If you win your division, you're in, but the rest is
Yeah,
all record based.
yeah.
But it
Well,
should go by conference record. It should go
yeah.
by regular record and then conference record for the
But I
tiebreaker.
mean, even in the
But then it
in the
basically is
AFC, it
though.
wouldn't even matter at that point because they're still
It still is the
because
same
AFC
way though,
still.
but that's why it's so screwed up. It's just, but it's not at the same time though when you think about it, because you won your division at the end
Yeah,
of the
you
day.
play your divisional opponents more than you play them twice. So I think I don't know. I like how it's set up. Hold on, we got a couple. Let's see. Taylor did great. Yeah, even against the Steelers defense, how high? And I'll say this because I did tell a couple people to sit Taylor, and I said it. I said this is why because I thought that the Steelers offense would get going this week. And I said if they didn't get going,
Be
Taylor was going to
right
have a
back.
good week because they were going to suck. Like if the offense sucked, the Colts were going to be good. And that's basically what happened in the first half. The Steelers offense was terrible. I think they had like 54 yards or something in the first half. They were pathetic. And then the second half, they found their groove. They found their groove, they got going, and Taylor and that offense was basically a non-factor. But where should you draft him next year? I would say honestly, and when I was watching him today, he does look really good. Like his jump cuts, like I love the thing that I like about running backs who I think are big indicators of how good they actually are is when you watch them and they're able to make jump cuts to make people miss in the hole. Like when you have a running back that is able to do that and is as big as he is and as fast as he is, I think that he has a ton of potential and especially behind that offensive line. Now the problem comes down to the quarterback. Who's the quarterback for next year? Does Philip Rivers come back? Is it Jacoby Brissett? Because if it's Jacoby Brissett, I don't like that offense that much. So where would I feel comfortable? Probably like the third round again, but definitely can move up depending on who the quarterback for that team is. I do think it could be in the second round, but it largely depends on who the quarterback for that team is. That was on me. You guys are the best. No, Mark, you're the best. We appreciate you, Mark. High scoring league. I'm up 110 points. Quarterbacks get typically 80 90 points. I have Diggs. He has Josh Allen and Devonte Adams. I should be okay if Allen doesn't get over 100. Do you think Allen has a tough matchup? So he okay. So you have Diggs. Um, okay, so that's it basically is it just like an extra zero to what these guys score? I think you should be okay. I think Josh Allen does have a good game, but I think if Josh Allen has a good game, Stephon Diggs will have a good game. So you have Stephon Diggs. So I think those two guys basically cancel each other out. Um, and then Devonte Adams will be the deciding factor. It looks like the weather's not going to be good tonight, so I I think he has a good game, but it definitely caps his potential with the weather. So you still have a shot. I feel like you should be okay, but it's hard to really say with the scoring. I don't know how the scoring exactly works, but I think you should be okay, Chris. It just depends on Devonte Adams tonight, how well they're actually able to pass the football. Woods and Cup put up a stinker. Seattle looks like a solid defense last few weeks. You could say that, or the Rams. I mean, the Rams right now are just falling apart. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Rams because they laid an egg last week against the Jets. I mean, maybe the Jets are just playing good. I don't know. That's why the NFL is so wacky. Like week to week, it can look like you have it all figured out, and then the next week it's completely different. Um, so it is what it is. I mean, Woods and Cup, they did put up I wouldn't say a stinker. Like I think Woods or what's his face? Cup had a decent yardage day, especially in PPR. I feel like he had right around 70 yards. If he would have scored a touchdown, it would have been a much better day. they're capped by Jared Goff. I'm sorry, I don't think Jared Goff's any good. Woods, yeah, Woods didn't have that good of a day. Cup
Um,
would have had a decent day if he would have scored a touchdown, but
I wanted you said how many passing or how many yards passing or rushing. It wouldn't really matter because they only had 20 rushing. But how many yards do you think the Steelers had in the first half?
like 50,
They had
20.
so big. This is Big Ben's stats. He in the first half he was 11 for 20, 98 yards, no touchdowns, obviously. Second half, 23 for 29, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns.
So what? They had right around 100 yards in the first half.
Yeah,
I didn't even think that much, honestly.
20 total rushing yards that entire game.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Can you still do like a mock draft of where? Yeah, I'm actually gonna do it this week. Well, real quick, Allen has a tough matchup. I'm a little worried. Moss and Singletary will have big games versus the Pats. They do, but I'll say this about Allen: though they won't have Gilmore, right? So at least he's out of the way. So I do think that definitely frees up Diggs to have a pretty solid game.
And John
Um,
Brown's back.
and John Brown is back, so I think that definitely helps the offense. I just think Josh Allen, he's just playing really well right now too. Like for a little bit, he lost that groove. That offense just kind of sputtered out and didn't play that well. And now they're back in it. Like they're playing really good. They're
They're
honestly
confident.
I think they could. They have a shot to challenge the Chiefs. I
If
know
the
that they've
Chiefs
already
play like
lost.
they did today against them, for sure.
Like I think on really any team on any given Sunday can beat any team, but I do think that like if those teams played 10 times, I think the Bills would win like 4. And I feel like that's pretty good. So, um let's see. Yeah,
If
can
their
you do a mock
defense
draft?
plays up to that, the way they have been. They didn't look great in the beginning of the season, but right now they look like they
Yeah,
did
they're
at the
playing
end of
better.
last season.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a mock draft. I'm gonna do a mock draft this week. I'm gonna do a couple mock draft video. Well, I'm gonna do a mock draft video of like the first 2 rounds, and then I'm gonna do another ranking video, and then I'm gonna do another mock draft video of like rounds 3 through 5. Like it's hard to do those, believe me, because there's so much uncertainty right now, and especially because I'm also not factoring in the rookies yet, because I have no idea where they go. It largely depends on where they go. Like say, who's the top running back that's coming out of this draft? The kid from Alabama. What's his name again?
I don't remember it, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, what the hell is his name? I can't remember his name right now. Somebody in chat, let me know. You have that kid from Alabama, and also isn't there somebody from Clemson too? I forget. I don't know college because I don't follow college that well because the players are always changing, so it's hard to keep up with it. Um,
Najee Harris, that's his
Najee
name.
Harris, yeah. So if he goes, I mean, say he goes to like I don't know. I'm just throwing a team out there off the top of my head. But say he goes to like the Cardinals, right? And they let what's his face? Kenyon Drake walk, right? I mean Najee Harris, where are we going to draft him? Like I'm sure he's going to shoot up a lot of draft boards. So I'm not factoring in the rookies yet. I'm leaving those out. Basically 3 through 5 guys that I think
Travis Etienne, is that how you say his
yeah,
name? Yeah,
I don't know if that's how you say his name. I'm not sure
but
exactly, but
he's
yeah,
apparently number one on
yeah.
everybody's.
So, and it depends on where he goes as well. I mean, there's a lot of questions, and you have Aaron Jones, obviously. Where does he go? Kenyon Drake, where does he go? So, I'll make like a mock draft, and I'll just kind of take a guess. And if they land in the same situation, if they go somewhere else, they can definitely move. So, Najee Harris, yeah. Let's see. I still remember playing Le'Veon Bell a few years ago. Chip. Oh yeah, yeah. I do remember that. That was the Steelers game when they played the Bills and Big Ben had like 3 interceptions that game, but Le'Veon freaking destroyed him. Yeah, I remember that game. And there was another game in the playoffs too. Le'Veon Bell against Cincinnati. Like he crushed Cincinnati. Well, not in the real playoffs, like in the fantasy playoffs. When the Steelers were really good, he had a really good game against Cincinnati as well. I can't remember what his exact stats were, but
Wasn't
what are
that
your
back to
playoff?
back? I don't
What
know.
was it back to back?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that might have been the year that he was running back
Because
number
he had
one.
200 rushing yards against the Bills, and I'm pretty sure he had a really big game either the week before that or the week after that or something like that. I'll look.
Yeah. What are your playoff predictions? So for this, are you saying for this? I'm assuming for these playoffs, I would say like, I mean, who do I think is gonna win? I mean, I think Kansas City. I don't. There could be a team that beats Kansas City, but honestly, who is it going to be? Like Pittsburgh right now is. Does their offense play like they did in the second half of this game? Because if they do, then I do think they have a decent shot of beating Kansas City.
Yeah.
Does
Chiefs.
Josh Allen play really well like he has been? If that's the case, then yes, I do think that they have a chance to beat Kansas City.
He had 38 attempts for 236 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'll go look for the game
Against who?
before that. Against the
The
Bills.
Bills. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Um.
the Bengals was the next week.
Yeah. When he.
And yeah, he had 93 yards. That was it. So maybe it was a
What were the
different game.
touchdowns?
None. So
He didn't have any touchdowns. It may have been
no.
like the year before or something.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
I
I
know it
mean,
was.
this whole year it was a good year for him because this is the year they went and played in the wild card against Miami, and then they lost in the conference championship to the Patriots.
I don't remember that year.
That was the year that they beat Alex Smith and the Chiefs,
Oh, okay.
and it was a really close game. It was 18-16. It was
Yeah,
super.
those like Boswell had like
Yeah, that
field goals.
that game made me know that they let you know they were not going to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, they just
or
couldn't
the
score.
Patriots. Yeah.
Um, I don't know who comes out of the NFC. Like the NFC, man, I'm telling you, is right now. I guess the Saints. The Saints look like the best team. I mean, they got by without Breeze, and now with Breeze back, I think they're gonna have. Well, who is it? Does Green Bay have home field advantage? Who has if they win tonight? I don't know how it works. Let me see the standings real quick.
Jeez, I don't even really see.
Green Bay. No, they're tied with New Orleans. So I don't know how the tiebreaker works. Did they I don't know if they played each other. Did they play each other this year? Yeah, they
Who?
did. So the Saints so the Green Bay has a tiebreaker. So if Green Bay wins tonight, then they probably win. Yeah, they'll win the bye. But I just think that I think I don't know. I think Green Bay's good, but I think they don't have. I think New Orleans has a better defense, so I think New Orleans can beat Green Bay. I feel like Green Bay, or I think New Orleans has the best chance, in my opinion, to go to the Super Bowl from the NFC. But I do think that the NFC is pretty open because some of these teams are inconsistent. I mean, you have Tampa Bay, right? Tampa Bay is playing good football right now. I mean, does that continue? Does Tom Brady keep playing really well? I mean, they did absolutely crush Green Bay in the regular season. I know it was early in the season, but they still demolished them. And is this the groove? I mean, to put up 40 points on a team at halftime is pretty impressive. So they're very good offensively. I'm not sure exactly who comes out. I do think that the Chiefs come out of the AFC though, honestly. I'm up 49 points. I have Bills D. He has Derrick Henry. Uh, am I safe? Oh boy. So he has Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, and Aaron Jones. I think I'm done. I uh it doesn't look too good, but it is possible. I'll say that. Because I do think with the weather tonight, I do think it's going to factor in and it's going to cause this game to be a little bit low scoring than what it was. I think I had the chance to be one of the highest scoring games on the slate, but now with the snow, I think that does bring the total down. I wonder what Vegas has the over under as right now. What do you think, Kyle, about the game tonight? Do you think that's accurate?
3.5. Is that what you said?
No, do you think that it like the weather's definitely going to play a
Oh,
big factor?
100%. I think
Yeah,
it's going to be the biggest factor for Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, AJ Brown, Ryan Tannehill. I think it's going to take away over a potential like over half their production that you could have potentially seen if this was just a regular at least a bare minimum 36-degree day, typical winter day like it was here where we live. But I would say that's pretty. I don't know. I think that's pretty generous. I don't look at the Packers as like this powerhouse of an NFC team either.
Wait,
They've
what are you
really
saying? It's generous.
the point spread.
What is it? 52? You're saying, or you're saying 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5. Like I think
Yeah, no,
that
I agree. I
like I
think, especially with the weather now, I think it
yeah,
benefits Tennessee.
100%. Because Derrick Henry is a guy that the cold weather isn't going to slow him down. I would say
Yeah.
like a 1.5 like would make more sense to me.
And I mean, really, Green Bay did not look good at all in the second half
The
last week.
last 2 weeks they haven't. They struggled. They it was only a one possession game against the Lions, who just got blown out by the Buccaneers. And again, it raises that question: are they even better than the Bucks? They got blown out by the Bucks. Like I don't know. I'm not. Every year I don't buy into the Packers, other than
I
2010.
and right now, if I'm a betting man, right now the over under is 52.5. I think I would definitely take the under, and I could totally be wrong, and it ends up being a higher scoring game. But I haven't actually looked at the pregame. I
And
should pull it
sorry
up.
for anybody if this is loading and buffering. I'm having some issues with the internet right now. I don't understand why, but
Is that
just
what's
power
going on?
through. Yeah, I keep getting an error saying I have poor stream status. That just the internet must just be slow right now. Is what it is.
I'm gonna check the pregame. I don't have it up here. It's just doing highlights. So, has anybody looked at the pregame so far? What does the weather look like? If anybody that's
Terrible.
watching.
There was a picture or a video of go look at Pat McAfee's Twitter. There was a video of one of the Titans offensive linemen. He walked out in his bare feet into the
Oh, I did
snow.
see that.
Yeah, you see how bad? Did you see how
Yeah,
terrible? Well, you couldn't
but that
even
was
see in
a.
front of you.
I thought that was a couple hours ago, though.
That was maybe
An
like
hour ago.
maybe 2 hours ago. Maybe.
Yeah, so that does look. It looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if it stays like that, hey, I think you have a decent chance because I do think that game is going to be a bit low scoring. Real quick, I got Corey Davis and AJ Brown, one spot. Who do you play? I'd still play Corey Davis. Or I'd play AJ Brown. I'm sorry. I would go AJ Brown. Ravens are red hot now. If they make the playoffs, I think they could win a couple games. I do agree with that. I do think that they're finding their groove. They're running the ball extremely well. Even with missing linemen, they're still doing a really good
They could
job. So I
actually
do
be a
think that.
team to knock the Chiefs off if they play that way, only
Yeah.
because if the Chiefs struggle as much as they do, and I think that the Ravens have one of the better defenses, although they might have lost Marlon Humphrey today, which could be huge. I
Hmm.
didn't see. It could have not have been as serious. Maybe he got up. I didn't see, but it sounded serious when he went down. But the reason why I say that is they run the ball so effectively, and Lamar's actually starting to get in a groove with Des Bryant, who I don't think is a joke. I don't think it's a joke. Think Des Bryant's legit. I always have, but I think that if they can run the ball and just keep Pat Mahomes off the field on top of the struggles that the Chiefs are having, they could easily be a threat to the Chiefs.
PPR championship, Henry or AJ Brown? I would go Henry. Gamer. Cole Beasley or Corey Davis? Oh boy. With the weather, I'm gonna take my chances with Cole Beasley, but he does not have a
It's
good matchup at all. Like Cole Beasley does not have a good matchup. And actually, let me check the weather in Buffalo because I thought that the for tomorrow actually wasn't gonna
it's
be that.
snowing with snow on the ground.
Yeah. See, tomorrow in Buffalo too, it's gonna be 80% chance it's going. Oh no, no, no. The game's in Foxborough. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. Foxborough. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So tomorrow is not that bad. So yeah, I would go in Foxborough. That's pretty crazy. It goes from 26-mile-an-hour winds and raining in Buffalo, and then Massachusetts, it's going to be 13-mile-an-hour winds and sunshine. So that's pretty crazy how the weather works out like that. So I would go Cole Beasley, Chris, just because of that reason. And right now, I don't like this game weather-wise. Alan Lazard or Corey Davis? Thank you. I would probably go Corey Davis personally. Full PPR. I would go Corey Davis in that circumstance. It's snowing with snow on the ground. Thanks, Chris. No, I mean it depends. Okay, here it is. Finally, I get to see it. Yeah, so it's You can see it's snowing. It's it's blowing a little bit. You can see it's coming in kind of diagonally. Yeah, I don't really like that. I don't like that much for the passing attack. I would downgrade the passing attack. And with it being 52.5, it could definitely get there, but I think I would bet the under for this game personally. And then what were we talking about before that? I forget what you were talking about. Well, I did just watch so they're talking about the division. So Dallas has to win next week against New York Giants, and then the Eagles have to beat Washington, and then the Dallas wins the division. And then I don't know how it works if Dallas. I don't know if the Giants actually have a chance if Washington loses. I didn't listen to that part. So we got a eventful week next week for that division at least because they're all playing each other basically. So it's going to be very interesting. And then I was going to talk about something else, but I totally forget it. Was there something that somebody said earlier? Okay. Oh, we were talking about the Ravens, right? So yeah, I do think that if the Ravens get in, look at that right now. Geez, that weather does not look good, especially when you have that. Look at that. My gosh, no, I don't like that. That weather does not look good. It is snowing hard there. Oh boy, that's not good.
Yeah, it's about to be a slush fest.
Do you think if Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jags, they will get a lot of free agents? They have the most cap space in the NFL, I think. Well, here's the problem with you can have a bunch of cap space, but who wants to play in Jacksonville, right? I mean, sure, if you I feel like with the NFL, um, it comes down to like players, yes, they do want to make the most money, but I also think that players want to win, right? Like you can say that about all the players, but I think in the NBA a little bit more like they'd rather just go and kind of be the superstars, right? And get paid a bunch of money and be the guy on the team where NFL players, it's hard to do that unless you're a quarterback. So I think that it just depends on who wants to go there, who they can convince to go there and convince that they have a team that can win. So with Trevor Lawrence, I do think that that gives them a better chance at signing some people, but they need a lot of help. It's not like, oh, we just got to beef up the offensive line or defensive line a little bit. It's like, no, we need playmakers across the board. Like they need a lot of help. So I think in a couple of years they can be good, and they also need they're going to need a head coach because I'd imagine Doug Marone's going to be fired at the end of the season. So they'll need a head coach. Who do they have coming in? Who are the offense coordinators going to be? So we'll see what happens, but there's a lot of moving parts at this time of the year, and that's why it's so exciting. A new fantasy season, new football seasons are so exciting because I'd imagine you're going to have. I'm trying to think of all the head coaches. You'll have probably Doug Marone fired. You have obviously Atlanta, who's going to be the head coach there. You'll have probably Anthony Lynn, he'll be fired. Um, does Vic Fangio, is that his name? Right? Vic Fangio for Denver, does he get fired? I don't know what happens with him. Does he stay? Um, Obviously you can't fire Gruden, but this team doesn't look to be getting any better. And who else do we have, Kyle? Who else do you think gets fired? I'm trying to look real quick. Does Adam Gase keep his job? Right? I mean, does Adam Gase keep his job? We have Houston,
Anthony
obviously.
Lynn.
Yeah, well, Anthony Lynn, I said him.
Oh.
Does Anthony Lynn, right? We have Matt Patricia out. So what happens in Detroit? Does Bevel still be
Is
the
Doug
head coach?
Peterson's job on the line going into next year?
I don't think so. I don't think his job. I feel like he's secure, but like I would definitely say. So you already have Atlanta, Detroit, those two teams. You have, let's see, who else? Anthony Lynn will be gone, I'd imagine. I feel like he should be gone. Doug Marone will probably be gone. You have Houston needs a head coach. And then you're also going to have, I feel like the Jets should have a new head coach. And then you have Vic or Fangio possibly on the line as well. I don't think he'll be fired, but could be, wouldn't be that big of a surprise. So you have like 7 new head coaches that could be.
Wow.
Mike McCarthy. I wouldn't say Mike McCarthy just because this is his first year and he got unfortunate with Dak being hurt. I mean, if Dak is hurt, I still think that they might win like 9 games, and they'll win the division. It's not great, but at least because in Dallas you have an overrated offensive line that's they're older. They're an older offensive line that's getting paid a bunch of money. Their defense isn't that great. Their offense is very good, but you get Dak, probably the worst injury of the season, in my opinion, for all the teams, and it completely changes the team. So I think Mike McCarthy's okay. Do you think Wentz days are numbered? Well, here's the problem with Wentz is that regardless if the Eagles cut him or trade him, they're still taking a $34 million cap hit, right? So they're taking a $34 million cap hit. Even if they trade him, if they cut him, it doesn't matter. So do they take that $34 million cap hit and just cut losses? For me, I think that they keep him on the team. Like, why would you pay someone $34 million and not even have him on the roster? Say Jalen Hurts sucks. Maybe he's not that good. Yeah, he's had some good games, but maybe next year teams kind of figure him out and he doesn't do that well. Or
What are
say
they
he gets
gonna?
hurt.
What are you gonna trade him for? That's even worth it,
Yeah,
anyways.
like who wants to take? Because it's still not a very good contract. Like he's still getting paid a decent amount of money. Like one place that I hear is the Colts. So if the Colts want to trade him, like you're not going to get much for him. Like I don't like the team that's trading for Wentz, in my opinion, has all the leverage.
Because
Like,
honestly, here's the worst thing that can happen if you're the Eagles going into next season. Jalen Hurts is the starter. Either two things happens with Jalen Hurts. He sucks and he gets benched, or he gets hurt and Carson Wentz goes in. In both of those scenarios, if Carson Wentz balls out and he goes back to old Carson Wentz, then it's as
well,
if nothing ever happened.
that's why I think right now, I know you want to keep quarterbacks, but I mean, do we think that Jalen Hurts is really the future? That's why, in my opinion, I would trade Jalen Hurts because I feel like his value is never going to be higher right now. Like, trade him. You could probably get a lot for him, and then you keep Carson, and maybe he turns around. If not, you just cut him loose. I think next year they have a chance to get out of it. Um, but they're not going to, maybe they move him, maybe they move him, but it's not for much. So, his days could be numbered, but are they really going to want to pay somebody $34 million to not even be on the roster? Like that's a lot of money. The Steelers paid Antonio Brown 21 million, and like I didn't think that they would do that because they would still have that cap hit. So maybe the Eagles do that, but that's 34 million. That's a lot of money. Thoughts on Luck or Lock? I don't think Lock's that good personally. I don't. I mean they're a young team and they can definitely get things going, but in my opinion, I just don't think he's been that impressive since he's been the quarterback. Like he makes some like the times that I've watched him. Granted, I haven't watched him a bunch, but the times that I have watched him, he makes a lot of questionable throws. I know he's still young, but he's also how many years has he been in the league now? I feel like 3 or something, or has it only been 2?
I think this is his second year starting.
Second year starting.
Yeah.
So what 2019? Okay, so his second year. So I mean, this will be year 3, where this year 3 really for quarterbacks is like where they're supposed to make their biggest growth. So we'll see what happens this year, this upcoming year. I mean, if he's still playing the way he's playing right now, then unfortunately they're going to have to figure something out because he makes too many, he throws way too many turnover worthy balls. Like even, I think he has 13 interceptions on the year. He has 13 interceptions, 14 touchdowns. So that's not even counting the throws that are turnover worthy that don't end up being turnovers. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't think he's that good, but year 3 is the biggest is when the quarterbacks figure it out and make the biggest jump. So we'll see what happens with him. I'm at least 120 points with Allen and Diggs left. My opponent is at 85 with Henry. I hope I win the championship and thanks for your suggestions the past few weeks in advance. Oh yeah, no problem. I definitely think that you should win that game. Like if you lose that game, it's very unfortunate, but I do think you win that
I
game.
think the
So
game's starting.
yeah, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if we'll be live next week. We'll still do a show. So
Tomorrow.
if you guys, oh yeah, tomorrow as well. We'll do a show tomorrow. Yeah, why not? I mean, hell, we just like talking about football. And then throughout the year, I know that the off season's coming up. Maybe you guys unsubscribe, wait for next year, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter to me. But if you want basketball, Gigs is going to be doing basketball. If you do baseball, Ryan and Richie are going to be doing baseball for us. So make sure you tune into those live shows. They'll help you out. We'll also be streaming like video games. So if you want to just come in and talk about football or whatever it is, you're more than welcome to. That's what we're basically doing. So we do appreciate all you guys, tuning in, watching the show, and it's been fun. So looking forward to next year. I'm very excited to be able to do this in the beginning of the season during draft time. I'm very excited for it. So we got a lot of plans. So with that being said, give us your list for top 5 fantasy running backs for next year. Okay, real quick. So I forget who I had on the video, but my list would be I'm I'll go in order. CMC, I know he burned a lot of people, but I'm still drafting him number 1. 2, Dalvin Cook. 3, Alvin Kamara. 4, Derrick Henry. And 5, I know he got hurt this year, but I would go Saquon. Those would be my top 5. If you want to throw possibly like the only other person, it depends too. Say like Aaron Jones goes to um Arizona next year. I would consider him a top 5 guy if he goes to Arizona, because I think he'll be the guy, especially if Drake leaves. If Drake's gone and Aaron Jones is in Arizona and he's the guy, I definitely would consider him in the top 5, because he's oozing with potential. He's a home run waiting to happen. He's a very good running back, and on that offense, I would really like him. So that's my top 5. Thanks, man. You guys are great. You guys are great. Thanks a lot. Hey, thank you guys. So with that being said, kickoff. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be live tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. We'll talk some more just football in general. So thanks, guys. See ya.
It all